It's a big topic, and it's looking like to be an election issue. The government says there is no need to have an inquiry into mental health. Round the panel. Round the panel. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's because they don't want to see what's actually going wrong. I mean, it's as plain and simple. I mean, we've got DHBs...
An inquiry, yes or no?
Absolutely. We've got DHBs that are stretched to beyond breaking point. We haven't got enough mental health nurses or addiction nurses in the DHBs. The funding that they say, and I'm sure that Nicola's going to talk about, being ring-fenced, is not new funding. And if you look at it over the 4 years, they say, it's pitiful. It's not even touching the size.
All right, jumping over to this way, an inquiry. The government says there is no need to have an inquiry into mental health. We obviously do, don't we?
No, Wallace, let me first say that national, and I personally acknowledge that we do have mental health challenges in New Zealand.
So why don't we just find the facts with an inquiry?
Putting up their hand and saying, I've got a challenge, I need some help. And that's a good thing, and we should encourage them. And if there's anyone watching this TV show tonight and they've got a challenge, then we should encourage them to seek help. But an inquiry with meetings and reports and sheets of paper and people in committee meetings isn't going to make a difference. What will make a difference is nurses and psychiatrists.
An inquiry into mental health in Aotearoa, yes or no?
Absolutely. It's actually about listening. The government is being told really clearly from people within the system, people locked out of the system, people trying to use the system, that we need an inquiry to make this work. And the government is not listening. And we have to. Like, this is such a big social problem, and we're hearing calls for inquiries around domestic violence, around mental health, around abuse in state care, and the government is saying no. But the reason people are asking is because the government is glossing over doing a PA job and not addressing the core needs.
You've been in Parliament... You've been in Parliament for a long time. It's becoming quite the issue in election year. An inquiry, yes or no?
An inquiry is part of the answer. I think extra funding is important, and it's important quickly, and we don't need to wait for an inquiry. But what is absolutely clear is that we're not doing things well. Too many kids are dying, and we've got to get systems in place so that they get support when they need it. Not waiting 6 weeks in the hut. If you're a kid with a mental health problem, you wait 6 weeks. It's just wrong.
Any personal stories that you've heard?
Look, we get people who come into the office all of the time. We had a person not that long ago, clear mental health problems. We rang the hospital, we rang the team that's meant to come out, and they were too busy and they couldn't come. In the end, it became a police matter. So we're getting police, caught up all the time in stuff they don't want to be involved in. They're not experts in because the funding and the systems aren't there.
We're going to go to our guest, Charlotte. We'll come back to you folks. Charlotte.
I've got Robbie Nicol here. Many people know him as white man behind a desk, but in fact, you have a personal experience, a very, personal experience with this, in the sense that you were in a dark place and went to get help, and basically it was red tape everywhere, right?
Yeah, so I started trying to get help in November 2016 and didn't end up actually getting support until February 2017, which
that is months.
Yeah, and when you're not doing so great and you're feeling a little depressed or anxious, or, you know, the end doesn't seem like such a bad option, it can be too long.
So how did you get through those months?
I have a really supportive family, and that's my sister over there. And I've got really supportive friends, and so lots of people help me get through it.
Well, what would you like to see happen? I mean, you're lucky having a supportive family. Some families do not like talking about mental health, depression, anything like that.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's a great question. I mean, I shared my story with a bunch of other people, and then Jonathan Coleman called us very left-wing anti-government protesters, which was a little rough.
Are you?
Well, I mean, it certainly makes you feel a little more anti-government when you hear that. But no, I mean, I typically rant and rave politically about what I want to see done, but in this instance, it's different because it's personal. Normally, the issues don't personally affect me, so I can make jokes about them. But this one, it hits really close to home.
Of course. It's so good you are talking about it, because mental health isn't spoken about as much as it should be. But one last question, should we be teaching mental health in high schools or even primary schools?
Absolutely, and that's part of the reason that I told my story, was the hope that other people would hear it and be like, oh, I should get help too.
Yay. Thank you.
Very good. Hey, Robbie Nicol, thanks for coming on, mate. Very, very good. White man behind a desk. Do you, Nicola, back to you. Do you hear what Robbie's saying? Do you hear what Trevor's saying? It became a police matter. It didn't have to be like that.
Yeah. So listening to Robbie's story, I find that a really moving story, and I think it's really unfair that you did have to wait that long for help. And any of us who've had a loved one or a friend who's been suffering from mental health issues, we want them to get the best possible care as soon as possible.
More funding?
So the question for us, yes, absolutely more funding, which is why the government in this budget
inquiry
committed $223 million more dollars to the sector. That's important. That we have more funding. The other thing that's important here, Wallace, is that we trust in the mental health professionals who work in our health system and who provide the services to people in need, and we listen to them. And our DHBs have the ability to listen to them right now. We listen to their advice.
Jan, I want to go to New Zealand first because they haven't had a bit of a go.
Thank you.
What do you make?
Look, New Zealand has the highest rate of youth suicide in the world, and that is a disgusting fact, and it's outrageous. And what Nicola has to try and explain is what this government's going to do anything different to solve that. Right now, we've got in Palmerston North for youth mental health an 8-week wait. An 8-week wait for young people who desperately need help. It's not getting better, it's getting worse. And Nicola needs to answer what this national government is going to do to change that.